Hey guys, welcome back. This is Joe Fu. Today we're going to look at the feats and abilities in the new LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga game. So to unlock the abilities and feats in this game, you not only need to have the Kyber bricks on hand, but also the amount of studs listed under the cost. And it looks like there's actually a few different ways to collect Kyber bricks. The most conventional way would be to go through all the levels, collect as many studs as you can, and fill up your true Jedi meter. You can also complete all the level challenges, but you'll probably find most of them hidden around in the open world, and you'll need to unlock different characters and abilities to get to certain things. So there's going to be a real strong emphasis on open world exploration. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there's about 1156 Kyber bricks to collect. So there'll be plenty to keep this game on the grind for a while. Now what I think is great about this game is not only have they added 9 different classes, so you have the agency to customize your gameplay however you wish, but there's also core abilities that apply to each character you play. Your core abilities work like a skill tree, sort of like what you see in Jedi Fallen Order, but on a much smaller scale. First one on the top left is Speedy Sprint. Now this one can be upgraded 3 times, each time becoming more expensive, increasing your sprint in free play from 10 to 30 to potentially up to 50% faster. In the middle we have Fast Build. This has 3 upgrades again, allowing you to assemble build it 25% faster. We don't actually have any information on the third one along here, but we can speculate its increased counter times as seen in this footage. Here we can see the exclamation mark symbols are too similar to really be anything else. These 3 filter down into the extra health, which is represented by a white shield above your health bar. And you'll actually have to unlock this one to move on in the skill tree. Now moving on into the middle section, we can see a little Millennium Falcon symbol. And without knowing for sure, I'm going to speculate that this will either increase damage output or maneuverability while flying. And in the middle tile, we have Collectible Detector. This will be an important one for many collectors as it'll highlight mini kits and ships with a marker. And it's important to note that this can be upgraded 3 times. And here on the right hand side we actually have an unknown ability from this video. It would be my best guess that this is either the ability to attract studs from a larger range or move objects. This then filters through into extra health 2, giving you 2 additional bars of health, before moving down to melee, ranged, and health regeneration. Now, these will all probably be 3 upgrades that'll range between 10, 30, and most likely 50% increases. And finally finishing on extra health 3, which will give you an additional 3 bars of health. Now looking at the classes, as I said, we've got 9 different ones. We have Jedi, Hero, Scavenger, Scoundrel, Bounty Hunter, Villain, Dark Side, Astromech, and finally Protocol Droid. And below that you can even see the coordinates, which will be super handy when it comes to retrieving Kyber crystals. Now moving in order of top to bottom, we start with Jedi, and the first ability there we find Force Flinger, which will increase attack damage caused by thrown objects with the Force by 15% with the first upgrade. We can speculate that that could be 30, 40, maybe even up to 60% by the third unlock. In second spot we have Jedi Reflexes. Successful combat counters are more powerful and damage nearby enemies. So you see this little warning symbol appear, and at the first upgrade it does 50% damage increase affecting small radius, and I imagine by the time it gets to the third upgrade that's going to do some serious AoE damage. The third spot is Trick Time. Increase the duration of distract and panic Jedi mind tricks. So the effects will last for 3 seconds, and I'll be very interested to see what the third upgrade would be. And our last Jedi ability is Mind Master. Increase the range of effect for distance and panic Jedi mind tricks. So all it states here is increase the range a small amount, and I imagine the second and third upgrades would be a medium and large amount. The distance we are unsure of. And moving into our second class, Hero, we can see our first ability is Improved Shield Generator, which increases the shield for ships piloted by hero characters. This increases by 25%, and potentially up to about 75 to 100% by the third upgrade. Our next hero ability is Armored Disguise. It adds a defense boost to equipped armor pieces, reducing damage taken. This one seems really cool. I've seen in trailers and in the leaked footage where you can add Stormtrooper helmets and armor. So this is a really cool feature to add to that. And by the third upgrade, you're essentially a tank, just absorbing all that damage. Up next in the third spot, we have Rebel Heart, which increases how often defeated enemies would drop recovery hearts. Now this would be awesome. I'm really excited. I'm hoping the Mandalorian is a hero character. I'm sure there's a good argument for Bounty Hunter, but some of these abilities just suit him to a T. And to pick up 25% more hearts in the first upgrade, and to think that could potentially be up to 75% more hearts by the third upgrade is amazing. And our last hero ability is Hero Terminal Expert. So Hero Terminal interactions can be bypassed or completed for bonus studs. And if you're unsure what this means, it's actually a little mini game the heroes play when opening a certain door. So you can either play the mini game and get 2,500 studs in the first upgrade alone, or bypass it completely. Now moving on to Scavenger, the first ability here is Crafty, where we can add a new color scheme for our Scavenger tools. This is not really my cup of tea per se, but it could be really cool if it's something you're interested in. We then move on to Expert Climber, which just increases your climbing speed by 40%, and you can upgrade that 3 times. Moving on to the third one, we have Better Breaker Blaster. Increase the explosive range and damage of the Breaker Blaster, making it more destructive in combat. So this will slightly increase explosion size and damage, and that'll move up with each upgrade. And the final ability being Advanced Gliding, which just increases the speed when using the glider, and that'll go up with each upgrade. All in all, pretty simple stuff for the Scavenger class. Bigger explosions and faster gliding sound really cool, but I think I'd rather spend my Kyber bricks on a couple other things first. We now move on to the Scoundrel. Now I do love a class that uses a bit of charisma, and our first ability here is Business Opportunist. So receive a stud discount when purchasing rumors and hints at the Holo Projector, so you get 10% off all rumors and hints for the first upgrade. This will be a really good ability for side quests, and it may even lead to a few really cool random encounters. The second ability here we have is Charged Shot, so we can hold down our right trigger, then release when the weapon flashes to fire a charged shot. This powerful shot causes 25% more damage and can bounce off surfaces. That opens up a lot of cool ideas, a few really cool angles, maybe some nutty gameplay and trick shots. And for our second ability we get Combat Slide, where we can slide, causing damage to enemies and knocking them back. And our final Scoundrel ability is Piercing Rounds, which pierce through cover with ranged attacks, inflicting damage on enemies behind it. So the enemy takes 15% of damage inflicted on their cover, and that's just the first upgrade. Super handy if you're fighting stormtroopers who are building blockades. Now halfway through the list we're coming up to Bounty Hunters. And our very first ability is Enemy Detector, to detect enemies through walls and other surfaces, so nearby enemies can be seen through walls. And I imagine the range of that sight will increase as we upgrade. Our next ability is Hidden Bounties, so collect a bounty of studs from defeated enemies. So defeated enemies drop 250 studs, and that'll increase with each upgrade. Our next ability is Scattershot, so bounty hunter weapons fire a spread of bolts, causing damage across a wider range. So this is just going to allow us to shoot 2 bolts, upgrade 4, maybe up to 6. And our final bounty hunter ability is Shock Grenade. So you can throw a shock grenade which briefly stuns enemies and disables energy shields. So that'd be really good against droid. The first upgrade, it just does a small range blast, and then a medium, and then a large as we upgrade. Now I've got to admit, there's an argument to be made to find the Mandalorian in either this, the bounty hunter, or the hero class. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I personally am beginning to think we'll probably find him here in bounty hunter. So our next class is Villains, and our first ability is Demolitions Expert. The idea here is that grenades cause explosive damage over a larger range, and this will go up with each upgrade, and I'm keen to see what kind of damage you can do with this. The next ability is Extra Ammo, so weapons found in weapon drop crates carry more ammo, allowing them to be used for longer. This will increase with each upgrade, but we're talking like submachine guns here. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Say hello to my little friend!
Our third villain ability will be Defense Droid, so a training remote will actually provide backup during combat, attacking your enemies. So at the first level, training remote attacks will cause a small amount of damage, and that'll upgrade to a medium and maybe a large amount of damage. But nevertheless, a really cool idea. And our final ability for villains is the Villain Terminal Expert, which will work the same way as the hero. You can bypass the minigame or you can complete it for extra studs. Overall, I'm rating the hero and the villain classes very highly. And now for the highly anticipated Dark Side class. The first ability, Fear the Dark Side. Enemies and civilians will have an increased chance of running away in fear from a further distance. I feel like this one, it's really cool, but you gotta max this out to get those rewards. Maybe bump it up to say 30% chance of fear at the third upgrade. So our second ability is Power Push. So a Force Push will knock back more enemies and objects over a wider range, and this will increase with each upgrade. Our third ability looks really good, Force Crush. Repeatedly damage enemies grabbed with the Force. You actually need an additional unlock, Dark Rise, to allow grabbing of non-droid enemies, but this will allow you to deal a small amount of damage to Force grabbed enemies, and it'll increase with each upgrade. And our final Dark Side ability is Dark Rise, which boosts the power and capabilities of Force Lift. So this is where we get the ability to actually lift up non-droid enemies such as Stormtroopers. And really not a bad sell for this class. Now moving into our second last class, we have Astromech droid with their first ability, Distraction. Project a hologram that distracts nearby enemies for a period of time, so this will allow to distract enemies for 3 seconds. The second ability is Droid Barge, which is a lot like the combat slide. It allows you to slide into enemies, causing a small amount of damage. Our third ability is Astromech Socket Expert, which allows Astromech Socket interactions to be bypassed or completed for bonus studs. So our last Astromech ability is Supercharge. You can add a shockwave to stun prod attacks, which damages nearby enemies, a little bit of area of effect damage. And our last class is Protocol Droids. First up we have Destructive Disassembly. Release a shockwave when disassembling, damage nearby enemies. And obviously, like a lot of the other abilities, you can upgrade this to increase that damage radius. Next up we have Paid Translator. Receive bonus studs for translating alien languages and receive studs for each new translation. A third ability is Polished Plating, which gives you a 50% chance of deflecting bolts fired from enemy weapons. Now, I'd love to see this one in particular work with that charge shot for some insane trick shots. And last, but definitely not the very least, we have Turret Tune-Up. Bolts fired from the Protocol terminal turrets will bounce off surfaces, increasing the chance of hitting enemies. Now, if that doesn't say shut up and take my money, I don't know what does. Now, looking back at all this, I'm really happy with the heroes and villains in particular. I think the Jedi and the Dark Side abilities are really strong. So let me know your favorites, let me know your least favorites. Make sure if you enjoyed the video to like, comment and subscribe. That helps me out a lot. And click that notification button so when I drop a new video, you get an alert. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a good day or night, and I'll catch you next time.